All right. Video's up. Audio looks good. I even got the right name above you this time. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 316, I think? 316. I'm going to go 316. Your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, sometimes some Star Trek. All super chats are read on the air so long as they will not permanently demonetize a channel, but perhaps an even better way to help support the channel, head on over to craftcomputing.store, grab yourself some fantastic merch. We've got pint glasses, we've got coffee tumblers, we've got a whole bunch of awesome drinking accessories
that you need for a tech show.
That's right. You got to get you through a podcast. And we're now offering flat rate international shipping, so please go check that out. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to my Discord server where you can chat with myself, John, Brett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out over there.
Yay.
All right. Hello.
Hello, everyone. It's been a while since I've been on.
Yeah. You've had a long couple of months.
Yes, I have. I know. I was like, when was the last time I'm on? Well, you had a busy December.
Yes.
You weren't even in Oregon for a large part of it.
No. I spent 3 weeks straight on the road. Going various places, meeting a whole bunch of really cool people. I mean, it was a heck of a lot of fun to, I was in San Francisco, I was in Seattle, I was in San Jose, I was everywhere this last month. But yeah, no, I'm home. Unfortunately, I'm not in Vegas this week. I had to, cancel my CES trip last second, but, sorry I missed it this year. I'm sorry I missed it last year. Same kind of thing happened last year, but we'll get back there eventually. We'll join everyone in the city that never sleeps and the tech news that never stops. But
I'm gonna say, you didn't miss your flight, did you?
No.
Okay, good.
One time that happens.
Yeah.
Skull is chiming in with some air fried chicken wings and an IPA. That sounds fantastic.
Right up my alley.
On a night like tonight. Speaking of, let's go ahead and get this thing started. John, what are you drinking tonight?
Speaking of IPAs, I am having a IPA from Anchorage called Personal Space. It is a triple IPA. Double dry hop with Phantasm powder, Nelson Sauvin, and Sabro hops. 10%. So thought I'd go big with this one at the beginning since I haven't been around.
An IPA, how original.
Hey, my next one's not an IPA.
It
does kind of taste like one.
I am also drinking an IPA from Crux Fermentation. I've got a Pertinier Centennial Fresh Hop IPA.
Oh, there we go.
So,
how is that even good anymore?
That's a great question. I found this one at the back of my fridge today, and I went, well, I either drink it today or I don't drink it. So I'm hoping it's still good. You're not supposed to age these, and I've had this one since like October. So
yeah, I mean, it's fine. It just doesn't give you what it was meant to be. It could have evolved into something better.
Right, it becomes an IPA. So 6.9%. Nice.
Oh, so that's 6 point. I think 9.6. I was like, oh, Imperial Fresh Hop. Yes.
No, just shy of double. We got a 6.9.
Yeah.
Let's see. We do have a couple beers chiming in the chat. Oh, Skull's also got some jalapeno and cream cheese in the fridge. Man, he is great. He is going straight towards heartburn tonight. Rev's got some jalapeno poppers in the freezer. Let's see. Tom has a question. Any plans for a new VDI guide? Yes. I am hoping to bring out a new guide within the next month or 6 weeks. It's something I've been looking at and experimenting with, especially now that Proxmox has had its second release on 8. It's up to 8.1. There's some weird things with the 6.2 Linux kernel that have changed some of the things. So yeah, actively investigating. How's that? Harley chiming in. He's got a Deschutes Fresh Squeezed. Excellent.
I just bought a case of that.
Nice.
They came up with a new fresh squeeze grapefruit or something. I forget what they're calling it, but it was like, well, it's new. I have to buy a whole pack now.
Yep.
Darn.
Yep.
Oh, darn.
Oh, look, another 12-pack of Ninkasi or Deschutes or whatever else comes out.
Well, I just got done with Ninkasi, so
yeah.
I was like, oh, well. You're twisting my arm here.
Yeah. Oh, no. And there just happens to be this gaping hole in my fridge.
See, Jason's drinking a Legion Space Dust. I actually just had one yesterday.
Nice. I haven't had a Space Dust in a while.
I know that's exactly what I thought, and I was like, I'm gonna buy one. I had one in my fridge. I was like, Space Dust sounds pretty good, and all around, again, super solid beer.
Hunter has a Catskill Brewery Nightshine Black Lager, 5.5%. A bit of coffee infusion. Don't see a lot of black lagers around.
No, not too often. That's nice.
Elmas got a glass of unanime? Unanime? How do you want to say that one? Red blend from Argentina. It says unanime. Am I wrong? Red blend from Argentina, 14%. Nothing wrong with a good glass of wine. Let's see. IHOP has a homemade Circus and Black Cherry Mead. Nice. Novella's got a Saratoga Sparkling Spring Water, 0%.
I was going to say, that sounds like something later we might talk about.
Yeah. I think it's on the list.
Yep. We got Rev. He's cracking open a hazy 394 from AleSmith.
I've had that one. It is fantastic. You know what's funny is I bought these as a 4-pack. The Pertinier Fresh Hop. It's definitely changed in just 2 or 3 months. Like I said, I think these ones came out mid-October is when I snagged them. They were very, very bright. Like shockingly bright. Like still citrusy, but not like, guava, orange pie. It was just this. Yeah. It was almost like Pilsner-esque on the hit of it.
Okay.
And just really, really light and refreshing. This one's got a little body to it now. So it's definitely kind of mellowed out, and those oils have kind of let go a little bit.
Yeah, there was a time I aged a fresh hop beer from Santiam, and they gave it to me on sale because they said it was a horrible fresh hop. And then I aged it and put it on, and they requested that I didn't put it on.
Yeah.
But then I put it on anyway. It was like, let's just see what it tastes like. And even their head brewer was like, all right, that tastes pretty good.
Yeah. Not expecting that.
Yeah. I think they did ask, though, to take the word fresh hop off the label of the menu.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll do that, but I'm still going to make my money off.
If it's been in your fridge for 6 months, you can take fresh off the keg. All right. Lots of news to get to today, so let's just go ahead and jump right in.
Yep.
Starting with just this last month, Intel kind of finally dropped to Meteor Lake. We started seeing some devices kind of trickle out. Still not a lot in reviewers' hands. There hasn't been a lot of Meteor Lake content that's out there, although the chips are starting to pop up in a number of different devices. The interesting thing is, at CES, what was Intel talking about? Well, it was a little bit of Emerald Rapids. It was a little bit more Gaudi, the same kind of stuff that we heard about in on their December 14th event at the end of the year. But they walked on stage, and what was their mobile news? It wasn't Meteor Lake is doing fantastic and we're really excited about its performance. It's, hey, guess what's coming out at the end of this year? Here's Lunar Lake. And literally brought out a Lunar Lake chip. Couple of things of note here. We already knew that they were going to go full chiplet design, tile design, as Intel has been calling it. And you can see all of them on display here. So this largest one is actually the I/O die. Up here is the CPU, and over here is the GPU. So what's cool about this is they're giving the GPU a modular section. Rather than cramming it all on die, which is what a lot of the G series processors do for AMD. Is it's chiplet design, but it's still unidie. As far as that goes, Intel is splitting that off entirely, and I've talked about this before. That brings up a whole host of options as far as configuration changes that Intel might want to make here. Shrinking your core size and bringing more GPU performance in for handhelds, especially. For gaming handhelds, you don't need, 8, 10, 12 cores of, your fastest CPU that you can get. You need a good 4 to 6 cores and then cram as much GPU down its throat as possible. And current APU offerings aren't doing that. There are some hints out there that Intel is going to start delivering on much more powerful graphical APUs in conjunction with maybe a slightly lighter helping of CPU in the mix. The other interesting thing is on the same package are a couple of DRAM modules, and that's for the GPU memory. Rather than going the HBM route, which is extraordinarily expensive, they've opted for some GDDR6 right there on the chip. Sorry, this is LPDDR5. I said GDDR6. LPDDR5. Right there on the package. In this configuration, you get 4 performance cores, 4 efficiency cores, so that would be a 8 core, 12 thread CPU, and they are saying upwards of 3 times performance on the NPU, which is their AI accelerator. That's baked into the CPU part of the chipset. Upcoming graphics will also have Battlemage architecture on board, which is the replacement to Alchemist. That is the next generation of Intel graphics. No real news on the number of compute cores that are coming to the graphics side of things, but again, through the grapevine, I hear it's going to be more than 8. It's going to be more than 12. Kind of a surprise that Intel decided to show this off. I mean, we've kind of known about the general sense of where Intel is heading with this new tile set architecture and really dividing up a lot of their different components even further than AMD did with chiplets, and seeing what that's going to look like probably in either November or December of this year. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's interesting. There again, there's, like you said, there was not a whole lot of, Meteor information on this, and there's even less on this, obviously, because they just announced it. Mm-hmm. There's no stats. Everyone's going off of specs and rumors. Pretty much, they only gave us was the core count and the style of RAM. So there's, like you said, there's got to be more than the 8. Probably more than 12, in my opinion. But yeah, this will be cool to see. End of the year ish. I don't know if end of the year means third quarter or fourth quarter. I would assume third quarter. At least announcements of devices. My guess is we'll see a Q3 announcement and a Q4 launch. Just going on what this year was, that's kind of what we saw with Meteor Lake, where it was like a September, Meteor Lake is coming, and then late December we started seeing some trickles of devices coming out there. Yeah. So It'll also be interesting
someone
to
had
see
a slide with a little bit more of a breakdown of the die packaging, and I'm trying to find who had that, but I read it today and I can't find it now, but
But this also means we'll probably see some more Meteor Lake content be coming out, which would probably give hints more to what this could be like as well.
Yeah, Meteor Lake is not quite this. It's not quite this chunked out. It didn't quite go through the blender as much. But Meteor Lake is still a tile-based system. But this is, again, kind of taking that all to the extreme. And man, with some IPC improvements, with a second-generation Intel, GPU, this could be a heavy hitter in the mobile space, both on laptops and a new and very fast emerging set of devices in mobile handhelds, in gaming devices. Your Steam Decks and your ROG Allies and all that. What does every current handheld use, with the exception of the MSI Claw that was literally just announced yesterday? Every single one of them uses a 7840U from AMD or a variant of that in the Z1, which is just a slightly better binned and slightly overclocked 7840U. It's the same exact chip being used across the board, and because that's the only option, it's the only option.
Yeah, everyone else in the mobile device or mobile gaming device anyways is just like, oh, here's faster storage, better graphics a little bit, where we crammed this better GPU, here's a little bit better battery. But it's basically the same computing. Here's a little bit better screen or different ergonomics to it and whatnot. So
I think I have 4 or 5 7840U handhelds in my possession that I've reviewed. I have one waiting for review. That's actually a really cool unit. It's like an 8-inch screen. It's ginormous. I've done a number of them on the channel, and while I performance test them all to make sure they all work as expected, they're all kind of within a couple of percentage points of each other. AMD builds a great chip. The 7840U is a fantastic chip, but as the handheld market is starting to get a little bit more evolved and refined, and users are starting to come at things with new features that they want out of these handhelds, whether it's higher refresh rate screens or higher resolution screens or the ability to dock them, more PCI or Thunderbolt expandability, more this, more that. The 7840U is kind of a one-trick pony, which means there's only so much customization you can do as a manufacturer if that's the chip that you're going to use. And again, because it's the only game in town, there's not a lot of other options that you can spring to or build a platform off of. So not only does competition, bring better prices, higher performance, it's also going to bring new options and new features that consumers and manufacturers are asking for. So everyone wins. Everyone wins when there's competition.
I couldn't. Yeah, I agree.
So Nvidia, to the shock and surprise of literally no one, since we've all been hearing these rumors since October, launched the Nvidia RTX 40 series Super models. In fact, I have a whole list of notes from that. So let me pull that up real quick. Where are my notes? Had a whole bunch of notes here. Come on. There we go. Okay. Sorry, minor bullet points, and so it's a lot easier than skimming an article and making sure you get everything right. So 40 series super cards have been announced, starting with, they're not dropping them all at the same time. They're trickling them out one per week over the next 3 weeks, because of course they are.
Why?
Gotta stay in the news cycle, man. So, as it goes, the RTX 4070 Super. Now, to be clear, I haven't seen any news articles publish official specs either. So whether Nvidia is being a little bit coy with the actual upgrades that have been made, they gave some performance metrics over how many teraflops of RT flops or their AI compute. They gave like base numbers for those, but they didn't give hardware-centric numbers. They didn't give specs off of these devices, even when asked directly a couple times. Anyway, the RTX 4070 Super, what we do know is it has 20% more CUDA cores than the existing RTX 4070, and it is going to be about 15% faster in overall performance. That is rasterization, ray tracing, everything. That 15% improvement should, according to Nvidia, make it faster than an RTX 3090, priced at $599. That is an insane level of performance for that money. And the 4070 might, just from that little bump, might be the new card to beat at that price point. AMD has definitely been coming in super hot, trying to drive prices down, especially with the 7800 XT coming in at, what, $499? But I think the 4070 is going to 4070 Super is going to fairly solidly trounce that, especially with the 4070 staying at just $549, $50 less for 20% less performance. Yeah, come on, Nvidia, just scrap that card and stop selling it. There's no need to segment your market every $50, although, as you'll see in a second, gosh darn it, they tried. Anyway, 12 gigs of GDDR6X, good for 584 gigabytes per second of memory bandwidth. Average wattage draw during gaming is supposed to be right around 200 with a 220 watt TDP design. $599, launches on January 17th. Then we have the 4070 Ti Super. The existing 4070 Ti is being discontinued. The 4070 Ti was a $799 card. The 4070 Ti Super is also coming in at $799, and it is replacing the existing card. Now, again, asked directly, Nvidia did not give any finite specs, so we're kind of going to have to wait until either reviews are out or Nvidia makes a press release about the official specs top to bottom of these cards. But we'll have 16 gigabytes of GDDR6X, good for 672 gigabytes per second of memory bandwidth, 225 watt average gaming load, 285 watt TDP design, $799 out on January 24th. I did confirm that these do have a CUDA core increase, although Nvidia, again, did not say how much, what percentage, or whatever else. They also didn't really give any direct comparisons to the 4070 Ti when asked. So we'll see. Then there's the RTX 4080 Super. This is replacing, again, the RTX 4080 at the exact same price point of $999. This is going to have the same 16 gigabytes of GDDR6, but still slightly faster bandwidth, still at 736 gigabytes per second, 320 watt TDP, and the performance benchmarks that were given were twice as fast as the 3080 Ti. Again, why compare it only to the last generation and not even the super version of the last generation? I don't know, but that's the number. $999 available January 31st. So your top to bottom lineup, or we'll go bottom to top lineup for RTX 4000 series now sits as follows. For $299, you have the RTX 4060. For $399, you have the 4060 Ti. For some more money than that, you have the 16 gigabyte 4060 Ti. At $550, you have the 4070. At $599, $50 apart, 20% performance gap, you have the 4070 Super. $799 4070 Ti Super, $999 4080 Super, and at $1599 the 4090. Now, the interesting thing about all these prices is we know you could never buy an RTX 4080 for $999. They were $1,200 and $1,300.
Yeah.
You can't buy a 4090 for $1,599. They're $2,100. So do I expect these prices to actually hold? I do not. Based on the last 2 and 3 generations of Nvidia cards, and honestly, business practices that forced EVGA into oblivion, I don't expect the 4080 Super to sell below $1,150 or $1,200, which is where the 4080 is selling for right now. I also wouldn't go out and buy a fire sale 4080 for $990 simply because it's finally no, it's still frustrating.
Yep.
We're still in that post-pandemic, everything is super inflated because of all the costs on the back end, and as seen by profit margins from Nvidia, they're definitely not helping the cause, passing on a lot of those costs to their board partners. So if these cards actually come out for the MSRP that they're advertised as, that is the 4070 Super actually hits for $599, I think that is going to be a phenomenal deal. If it trends towards $750, which some of the 4070s were trending towards $699, $749, boy, it's hard to look anywhere else other than, a 7900 XT or an XTX. Once you start approaching, $800, and those are sitting there at $850 and $900. So yeah, I'm hopeful. I can't wait to see the performance. I'm kind of waiting on bated breath, kind of with the rest of you, especially with the 4070 Super. $599 for what should be 3090 like performance, which 2 years ago, almost to the day, I bought an RTX 3090 at scalper prices at $2,600 because I needed a card for my new workstation.
Yeah.
2 years later, for $599, you can get the exact same performance, although half the video memory.
Yeah, well, I mean, what was I gonna say? Oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, they were saying that the 470 Ti, the 470 Super, they said even some results were actually even higher than that card. I agree with you that the prices will not be MSRP. Someone made the joke in the chat of like, yeah, it may be like 2 generations later MSRP. Sure, that's what you might see. And unfortunately, I agree with you of the price gouging and everything like that. That just stinks. I don't like it when they release these price points to the consumer, giving almost a false flag hope of, hey, this is what's going to be, and this is all you need. And then you literally look up the last generation, and it's double the price of these on some points. Yeah. $1,200 for the 30 series. And it's like, that's
Nvidia.
ridiculous.
Look, I might catch a little flack from Nvidia here on even just saying this, but I think false flag was a fantastic phrase to use right there, John. Standing on stage and going, we're releasing the 4080 Super, it is 20% faster than the 4080, and we're staying at that $999 price point. Not a single person this last year bought a 4080 for $999. Not one. Yeah. And if you can't sell them at $999, you shouldn't be able to advertise them at $999. And Nvidia, that's being disingenuous to your customers. And I understand you're the market leader right now. I understand that 87% of the GPU market belongs to you. It's still a crap move. And I wish it would stop.
Yeah, no, that's the one. I love, well, except the 4070 base models performances, but all the other ones, performance-wise, is looking great, but they're lying in these other availability aspects of, for consumer, it's so easy and cheap, and for this base amount of money, you could have this amazing PC or graphics card. No, you can't. They know that. It's like, just.
Like I said, I have hope for that 4070 Super, that it'll actually hit MSRP. And honestly, if that one hits MSRP, I don't mind the others creeping up, $50 or $100, especially for, good quality coolers and add-in board partners and maybe some extra feature sets and things like that. But,
I just can't see it hitting MSRP because cards that it's saying it's equivalent to or slightly above are selling right now for way more. And so they are going to be coming out at that exact price point and devaluing the others. And they're trying to get rid of the old stock.
Yep.
I don't know what method or what, college degree kid thought this is how you do it. It'll balance out. Trust me, of devaluing your old stock. And that's how we'll get rid of it. It's just, I don't, whatever they're doing, it's not working.
There have been times when companies have kept on older models and kept producing older models of GPUs or CPUs or whatever else, and sold two, model years simultaneously. Yeah. I mean, hell, it works for RAM. How long have they sold the RAM 1500 for? Like 17 years or something like that. Even though they've officially replaced it, now it's the RAM Classic, but they're selling the same, 2004 model.
I would say RAM's a little bit different than the GPU.
It's a little bit different, but there have been times when older models stay on or older models get older GPUs. We saw that some, especially back with Kepler, where some were 600 series Kepler, some were new Kepler. New Kepler was a thing. But yeah. And then saying, the 4090 is a $1,600 card. The cheapest one I see on Amazon right now is literally $2,050.
Yeah,
it's not a $1,600 card.
Soon as I saw this article, I looked up old models. Like, oh great, what are the older models going for? Like, whoa, no, I'm not buying any of these. No,
there might be price drops in the near future. However, there also might not be, because Nvidia's naming scheme and the way they've designed their product stack. And I said this all the way back. With Pascal, I started calling this out with Nvidia. They're trying to monetize every single $100 from. Yeah. They're not even attacking under $300 anymore. But they're trying to hit every $100 price point from $300 up to $2,000, and they're making sure that if you have $500 or $600 or $700. There's an Nvidia card for you to buy. That's part of their plan.
Yeah. For some reason, Intel's might be, Nvidia's might be escaping me, but isn't AMD the only one trying to get like below 300 and below? Right
AMD
now?
Really doesn't even have anything either below 300. They've got the RX 7600, which is $299, priced exactly identical with the RTX 4060.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they also have the RX 6400, but that's a joke of a card at like $150. Honestly, Intel sitting right there with the A770, even though only the 8GB model is available right now for like $250. The A750 at like $199. Yes,
8 gigs. I mean, if you're just gaming and you don't want 1080p. 60 frames, that's fine.
They're good for 1440. They really are.
Well, you do 1080, but then you can crank everything else up too.
I kind of want to do. I've been meaning to do this video for a while. I think I've got a motherboard review coming up here shortly. I think I'm going to use that platform, and I'm going to look at I'm going to re-review the $300 cards, the RTX 4060, the 7600. And I'm going to review both the A750 and the A770. And I'm just going to line up everything between $200 and $300 and fight.
Yeah.
And see who wins. I'm going to do 1080. I'm going to do 1440. I'm going to do that.
I think
I might do that next week.
Again, I think that's more your audience and stuff niche thing of you're not going for, like you said, that you're not going to get a 4070 Super or anything, then you're going to be one of the people to review it day one. I don't understand. You wish that'd be great, huh? 4070 Super, as I said.
I have one.
Well, whatever then, Jeff. Congratulations to upgrading. Anyways,
I'm saying they sent me one. It's upstairs, ready for review. Yeah.
Oh, I got that. I understood. Okay. I understood what it was. I didn't believe
they dropped off another box this afternoon too. I haven't even opened that one yet, but we'll see.
But some of your bigger videos too are more of, hey, here's budget. Let's check out used parts. Let's do this. And in all honesty, I'm more interested in that because all of my friends all the time, oh, John, you're a computer guy. I want to get my kid a system. I want to get it and then I say, what price point? Okay, here's your price point. All right, here's what you can get. Here's the best bang for your buck at that price point. I personally think more consumers are interested in that. More people like you or I are interested in the top of the model, but we're probably not going to go and buy one every year. We just want to know, okay, bang for my buck. This within the next 5 years, I'm going to gamble on the next 5 years. This is the graphics card I'm going to keep. This is the CPU I'm going to keep for the next 5 years, 4 years, whatever, depending upon my workload. Where the consumer is like, no, my kid's going to ride this out for 10 years, 9 years to see if he's even interested. And I don't want to invest more than $500 in a whole entire system. It's PlayStation or PC. Whatever the value of the PlayStation is what I'm going to dump into a whole computer. And that's monitor, tower, GPU, CPU, RAM, mouse, and keyboard. And your videos definitely hit more of some of the nicer videos that you've done. I felt have hit those. So
thank you.
Anyways, so yeah, about 470 Super specs look awesome, I think, but price, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
So,
anxiously optimistic at the 4070 Super pricing, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Asus. This one kind of came as no surprise. Lenovo's got a headset. Obviously, I've done quite a few reviews of different AR, augmented reality, second screen, wearable devices. I'm a huge fan. I've been a huge fan of this industry for literally like 2 decades. I have been interested and a buyer of headsets. Gosh, my Epsons are even within reach. Haha. Maybe I'll go with the Geordie LaForge look for this article. Asus announced a wearable display. There we go. Yeah, aren't these stylish?
Yeah.
Asus has announced the AirVision M1, a wearable display for multitaskers. The interesting thing about this is they're trying not to call it augmented reality, which I like. I hate that everything has to be augmented reality because augmented reality implies I'm interacting with the world around me. I just want a really good screen on my face. That's all I've ever wanted because that's how I use my devices. That's how I interact with my PC, with my phone, is I look at the screen and I use the phone. Anything that requires me to reach out and touch it, I'm not going to do on a plane. I'm not going to do it on a train. I might do it sitting on my couch if it's a really cool thing. If it's a game that I want to play, maybe. But if it's a game that requires me to turn more than 45 degrees each direction, I'm not doing that anywhere else either. And so it's pointless. I love augmented or head-mounted displays. HMDs is the more apt term for these, and that was the term for, the last 20 years. They became AR because, well, everything has to be augmented reality. But I'm looking here, and I'm seeing the same OEM that made the X-Real, that made the TCL, that made a number of other glasses. So now whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is kind of up to interpretation. The good news is those are all fantastic headsets. They all do have fantastic image quality. They use micro OLED displays, 57-degree field of view, full 1080p, 3D vision capable, so you can do side-by-side 3D content. There's nothing better than sitting on a plane and having your own personal 100-inch screen to watch 3D movies in, okay? It's amazing. But these are going to be rather similar to the X-Real Air 2, to the TCL Air 2s. I can tell just by looking at them who made them. I talked to the ODM, the original device designer, at Augmented World 2023 this last year. Fantastic company. They have even cooler products that they're trying to sell people. They're way more expensive. They're like they're probably in the $1,000 price range. I wish someone would pick them up on that, because they had a set of glasses there that was, I kid you not,
that's
like
nice.
this. Okay,
that's cool.
With a 85-degree field of view and 1440 per eye.
How much were they thinking?
It was
for this?
The image quality was mental, especially because they literally fit it within the package of a pair of glasses. It was nuts.
They used that new LG see-through screen,
the transparent OLED. Yeah,
the transparent. Yeah, I saw
it's
that.
It's kind of what it was, but it was it was still a projection-based technology. But yeah, it was impressive. Why are we going all green eggs and ham in the chat?
Because you said you'd have it in a plane or a train.
Okay, gotcha. I'm following now.
And then you said on your couch, and then I said, would you like it in your house? Would you like it would he like them on his couch? So, just kept going.
Would you like them there or near? Would you like them with a beer? Like, come on, get on my level, people.
There we go.
Gosh. You guys are just repeating. I'm up here creating art.
It's that fresh hop that's giving it to you.
Yeah. So
no, I've always wanted to experiment with glasses like these. The display aspect area. I'm similar to you. I like augmented reality, but I don't want it to be like, oh, here, look, here's my hands, and just a stranger seeing this. It's cool for a game. VR is cool for gaming.
Mm-hmm.
This, if it is a monitor display or a display of some kind, I've always wanted something very compact. I can lay in my bed. I can be on a couch. I can do whatever. I can be at my desk and just have my keyboard and mouse and then a pair of glasses on. That looks and sounds great. It'd be even super awesome to have like a macro key or macro button on my mouse that like turns the glasses on and off, say if someone walked in the room. That way I could then see through them and interact with them even better. That would be kind of fun. Mm-hmm. These glasses looked pretty cool. They looked kind of thick to me. They still looked very heavy. I don't know how the ones you have, how they feel, what the weight of them are.
They're fairly well balanced. The cable comes out the back, which actually does help balance the headset in total.
Which this one looks like it does as well.
Yeah, like I said, I know who made these, and Asus designed the shell, the projection package you buy as a package, and then you integrate them into your design. That's what an ODM does, is they design the tech, and then you say, I want to put it into my product this way. And there are like 7 or 8 current companies that are licensing the design of these glasses from this one ODM right now. It happens in the industry all the time, especially niche industries like this. Like Asus didn't go out and just decide they were going to develop an augmented reality headset, and 6 months later they push us out as a product. No, they went and bought a pre-existing one. That happens all the time. And as they start to develop their products, they'll start to request new features from an ODM, or they'll work with an ODM design team on, hey, we want to offer this feature to our customers, or we're going to design this. Can you make these tweaks in future models? And so you work with engineers who have an expertise in a product that you want to develop, not necessarily having 100% of your talent in-house. And that's how this industry works. But anyway, yeah. They're actually very comfortable. I've worn them on my face for multiple hours at a time. Really without any issue. So...
But well, one of the cool things about this one, I don't know if yours does it, is the multiple display aspect of this glassware. This one is saying it can do up to 3 technical displays
Yep.
Of screens. You have a 16 by 9, 21 by 9, or 32 by 9 option. So you can, with, I believe it said in the controls on the glasses themselves, pin screens and therefore see them.
Yeah.
That's, I believe, is something new.
Yeah, that is something that Xreal has been working on. I actually did a video on that with their beta software for Mac OS, maybe a little over a year ago, I think that was. Really cool feature. Basically, you plug the glasses in, and you can use the glasses just as a mirror of your display. You can use it as a second display, so your laptop has one and your glasses have another. You could also emulate up to 3 virtual displays in virtual space and turn your head and interact with them. So that's looking cool. At like multiple monitors. It's
got
really
3-degree range. Yeah.
Yes. It's 3 degree of freedom tracking, so it's rotational tracking only. You can't. There's no depth sensing to it. There's no inside-out tracking like there is on VR headsets. But it is a really cool effect. It's not quite as useful as I would like it to be yet, and that's really down to the fidelity or resolution of the screen, because your source projection, what your glasses have in them, is 1920 by 1080. And so if you want to emulate a display that is not just corner to corner projected, you're going to reduce the resolution as you spread it out. And if you move, you're going to change the alignment of your pixels within your 3D space. And so you add some distortion and other things that people who have been in the VR space for a long time kind of understand what I'm talking about. But there's some interpolation going on to make that real-time resolution change, to take a 1080 or a 1440 source image and then scale it down to fit within, an 800 by 600 window. It's not as sharp as it needs to be. You can't take a 1080 window and then throw it up and expect to get the same fidelity, because your glasses just don't have the horsepower behind them yet. Super cool tech, though. And I'm glad people are working on this. I've been waiting for things like this to come out for like 20 years. Yeah. Captain Beardsome sends over $5. Thank you very much. The computer at the call center I work at idles at 30% CPU, 12 of 16 gigs of RAM, and 200 plus background processes. Any idea why they bog computers down so much? Tell whoever is working your call center PC to close all the tabs in Chrome. John, you can probably answer this one a little bit better than I can.
Yeah, no, that there's either that Chrome,
Windows doesn't do that.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure either that or they went and clicked on every update every time they install a program. Would you like to install terms of service, which also includes this app that you need to install? Yes, click, 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 click. And there's probably, like you said, 200 plus background processes that shouldn't even be loading at the start of Windows.
Here's what I'm doing right now on my PC, literally right this second. I have OBS that is broadcasting at 1080p to YouTube. I have a Zoom meeting with John that I'm hosting. I've got 2 different web browser applications open, both with multiple tabs. I've got Firefox and Chrome. I have Discord running. I've got a number of different background services running. I've got my AI accelerated OBS bot Tiny 2 camera and the control software for that. I've got a Photoshop thing open that I was working on before the show. Number of other things just going on. I just got a Discord notification in my ear. My CPU is sitting at 35%. I'm using 18 gigs of RAM, and that's it. And I'm doing all of that.
Yeah, well, that's your CPU. We don't know what CPU is in his system.
He says he's using 12 gigs. He says he's using 12 gigs of RAM. I'm using 18, and I guarantee I'm doing... It doesn't matter. Capacity is capacity. The speed of RAM has nothing to do with how much you're using. No matter what Apple says. So
Also, well, that wouldn't be 30% CPU, but what? Just curious, and I'm gonna say this: what kind of hard drive do you have?
I'm on.
That wouldn't do. No, not you, but Captain Beardsome.
Oh, totally.
That wouldn't do anything to your CPU, but it will slow down performance in general as well.
Windows in general will use between 2 and 4 gigs of RAM for a fresh install. If you're using more than that, you've got other crap installed. Or other crap.
There's also, when was the last time you updated that PC? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of little things, but probably there's just junk in that PC. That's running in the background that you don't know. And if it's not yours and it was a user end computer and they said, I don't know why it's doing this, don't believe them. They clicked on something. They have been downloading something. There's an email that says, install this background driver because you need it to run the Pandora that they're no longer using, or Spotify. Oh my God, Spotify takes up so much, or Apple Music takes up a lot just when at startup. So stuff that they don't need. So anyway, there's a lot of little things. There's some spots to hit.
Yeah.
Hey, do we have a sponsor today?
We do. It's craftcomputing.store.
Oh, okay. There we go. Craftcomputing.store. Speaking of craftcomputing.store, my wonderful glassware that says Hops and Brews on it is empty, so I will switch it for this other wonderful piece of glassware. Check this out. That's nice. Look at that shit.
God, those look good.
Those look good. But you know what would make this look even better?
A beer.
Yes. That's what it needs. So if you either want to start the next one, or how's your beer, Jeff?
I literally just finished it. So
all right, well, I'm gonna go grab my next one.
Fantastic, you do that. If you haven't done so already, head on over to craftcomputing.store. This is my storefront. Everything you see on here is designed and made in-house to order by me. If you order a coffee tumbler, tomorrow I will go out in my garage and I will cut that coffee tumbler on my laser engraver. That's how my store works. So all the designs are done by me. All the merch is cut by me. Everything is shipped by either me or my wife. So we also just introduced some brand new shipping rates. $8 for all U.S. orders, flat rate until $35. After $35, it's free for the continental U.S. International, we have service to 23 countries and flat rate of $12 per order. Regardless of quantity, regardless of anything else, that's what we're going to do. We've got everything from my Matrix-inspired Nonic pints. You've got your stout glasses with the Code Rain on here. Ooh. Those have been very popular as of late. I've got my circuit design on quite a few different things. Each one of them is a little unique.
Look at those. Those are nice.
Yeah. We got some Hops and Brews whiskey stones. Check those
man.
out.
Look at those. Those are pretty.
Those are pretty. I am actually really jealous of how well your logo turns out on the glassware.
There is also coasters. We got coasters. Yep. There's yours as well. Yep. Mine as well.
So yeah, we got a whole bunch of different products on there. Like I said, everything made in-house. Go check it out. Really helps out the channel, keeps the lights on around here. So yeah, do it.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna get my beer. I can introduce it if you want to grab yours or whatnot. But
I got a little prep work to do. So hold on.
All right, that's fine. So I will go ahead and do my. I went and picked up today. If you're part of the Discord channel, you will have known what I am doing. So make sure again to join that. You get sneak peeks of stuff. Everyone shares what they're drinking, what they're eating. There's so many awesome, cool channels there. Minimum of $1 to join, but always more. And it's probably one of the best communities you can ever join. I'm part of so many more Discords I'm joining every day, and that's pretty much the only one I enjoy hanging out at. It's not just because I'm a host. It's just because of the community. But today, if you check out my channel, Hops and Brews, you'll see I do something very often, very annually. It is a review of Sierra Nevada's Bigfoot barley wine style ale. The unique thing about this beer is some of the people here, we like to call it almost the IPA of barley wines. But the cool thing about Sierra Nevada's Bigfoot, it's a great introduction into aging beers. I personally have a collection of probably almost 15 years of this. But
You've
it's
been into
something
Bigfoot.
Yes, I am. 2024, the latest one.
Nice.
So, yeah, just got a pack today. Like I said, it's not an IPA, but it's basically an IPA.
It's basically an IPA. It's a
If you know
super
what-
boozy IPA.
It's yeah, so it's a barley wine, but Sierra Nevada overly hops this barley wine to
Yep.
basically make it a it's not as big as that triple I had, but it's probably a little bit more delicious. 9.6%.
Yes.
But because it's a barley wine, it's more malt forward. You can age this beer for years. So, yeah, there we go. Oh, the Aromax. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. Actually, I opened up a 2022 this past weekend, and it still tasted fantastic.
Nice.
So,
I'm doing something a little different. So I'm gonna have some apple cider in one of my craft computing mugs.
Billy's like a
Got a little bit more hot water
cider
down
and
there.
bourbon. We going with
Going with rum.
rum?
Yeah.
Okay, I like rum. Rum's good. Rum and cider's good.
What I've been using in this is some Blackheart.
Blackheart. That's good.
Blackheart 93 proof spiced rum. You don't need much. Super
But you can always
fantastic
add more?
combo. Yeah. Like, this is a 20-ounce mug. Ounce, maybe ounce and a half. Like, you know, we're not going
A shot.
for...
You need a shot.
You need a shot. Just a shot, though. You don't need anything more than that. Yeah, just a little nighttime hit of this has been fantastic.
Will that even dissolve the sugar?
Oh yeah. Well, there's
Or
hot water.
are
in
you-
there.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, are you basically making hard cider?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like,
No, I poured hot water in there already, and then I added.
Oh,
the
okay.
cider
Well, you
packet,
didn't say that. You didn't say that part. Okay. So, what do you think? 8 ounces, 12 ounces of hot water?
I did basically 18 ounces of water. So
Oh, okay.
20-ounce mug. I almost filled it, and then
Okay, so that's you're looking at. what is
it's
that,
a very
5 to
light
7%?
drink. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shot for. Yeah, that'd be around 4 to 5%. Well, that
Not even
Sailor
that.
Jerry's. Well, that's 96 proof, so it's a little bit higher, barely, but still.
I can tell you.
1.5.
1.5 times 0.45, or 0.47, which is about what we're at. So that's 0.705 of ethanol in the ounce and a half that I would add to that.
Yeah.
And out of a 20-ounce drink, so 20
Times 0.25, or whatever you said it was.
Gosh, no, what would it be? Because it's 0.7 out of 20. It's 2.8%.
It was 3. Okay.
Yeah. Wilhelmina sends over $5. Thank you very much. And first super chat on the stream. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Second super chat. Remember, second.
Let's celebrate their first super on a live stream. I got that notification, so this is their
Oh,
first.
their first.
Their first.
Okay, their
So,
first.
yeah.
I thought you said the first. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Wilhelmina. Thank you. Random question involving your older server vids. Do you still have the Hive Zeus servers? If you still do you... if so, do you have any use of them due to their power draw? Actually, at the beginning of 2023, I still used 3 Hive Zeus servers as my virtualization machines. One of the changes that I made this last year was specifically around power draw, and was to get rid of the Hive Zeus servers, because even though I only had, I think 2 of them were running 2648L, which are 1.9 gigahertz, 8-core CPUs at like 50 watts. Like, they are stupid low wattage CPUs for Xeon chips. Even then, each of those servers was drawn like 175. Like, it was pretty crazy just sitting there at idle with 2 SSDs, 8 DIMMs, and the 2 55-watt CPUs. Each server sat at about 175 watts times 3. And I think one of the servers had 2667s in it, which are 135 watt high performance SKUs, and that one sat probably about 300 watts. At the beginning of last year, my server rack was sitting about 900 watts at idle, and I went, even though I've got really cheap, stupid power, that's not sustainable. I don't want to do that. So I actually did replace all 3 of the Hive Zeus servers. I replaced them with a pair of home-built 2U servers using the Erying Tiger Lake ES CPUs. So 8-core, 16-thread, 2.6 gigahertz based on Tiger Lake. Those servers draw 75 watts when they're powered on. They've got a pair of NVMe drives. They've got 64 gigs of DDR4. And the most they'll ever draw is 100 watts, because the CPUs peak out at 65. So they're mental as far as efficiency goes. Oh, and they run circles. That they're 2.5 to 1, like core to core performance. You get 2.5 more performance out of a single core than you did out of a single core of Ivy Bridge. Like, they're nuts. So yeah, I run those now. Now my server rack idles at like 350.
Got another super chat from Michael.
Michael, member for 16 months. My first member milestone chat for 2024. When do you stop saying Happy New Year in the new year? I think at the end of the first week. If you haven't seen them, go, hey, I haven't seen you since last year. But I think the Happy New Year stops at the 7th, because it's either going to be happy or it's not.
I mean, I guess I give it like, at best 5 days or whatnot. I don't know.
Well, I said first 7 days. First 7 days.
Yeah, I think you can get away with it. I personally probably don't say it past day 2 or 3, and if they say it, then I'm like, oh, Happy New Year to you too,
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go out and say it, and although at the same time, I'm not usually like one of those guys. Oh, Happy New Year to you! It's just like, hey, I saw you a couple days ago.
I mean, should we do what Walmart does, just in inverse? Like,
and then let's go
in September. Go Happy Holidays.
Well, no. So what we need to do is after the 7th, after January 7th, you have to say, well, upcoming Happy Valentine's.
Yeah.
That's the Walmart way to go.
Yeah.
It's Valentine's Day already. Did you guys not know that? It's Valentine's Day.
Happy Honda Days and Merry Toyotathon to all who celebrate.
They're still not acknowledging International Beer Days, unfortunately. I'm still trying to fight for that one. And Bourbon Day, Vodka Day, Whiskey Day. I celebrate it at work, personally. I have the right to. But apparently HR does not agree with this. Oh, well,
bull.
But whatever.
That's
bull. That's what I fight. I fight for that. I fight for the right. It's a minority people, and I fight for them.
You got to fight for your right to party.
And that's the slogan we have, know.
Very original,
but then I got a cease and desist order, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to party, and they're fighting me to fight for that right. Like, this is a huge contradiction here, Jeff. I don't understand this. My belief system is just crumbling.
Yeah.
Hey, well, speaking earlier, we were talking about mobile handheld devices. How
Yes.
many you personally even have? You said what, like 4?
That's just the 7840Us.
Yeah.
I've got a lot.
We're not talking Nintendo DSs or Switches.
Oh, if you want to get into that, I have even more. I'm a Nintendo handheld junkie.
Well, yeah. I personally just got. I have now 3 Switches now.
We have 3 Switches in the house. I have 2, and my wife has a mini. I've got still my original DS. I've got a DSi. I've got a 3DS. I've got a 3DS XL, and I've got a new 3DS XL. I still have my original green Game Boy Color. I still have my Game Boy Advanced SP, the 351 with the IPS display. I have a Game Boy Micro.
Oh my gosh.
Don't test me.
No. I got 3 Switches and not a 3DS, but just a Nintendo DS.
Yeah,
that's all I got. That's all I got. But I modded. So for Christmas, I gave my son a modded, not a modded Switch, but a modded Switch. I don't do that type of stuff. But I happened to have a deal where someone was like, "Hey, here's 2 Switches. What am I gonna do with these?" So, but I can't transfer my memory or the saved games over. So
yeah,
my son has 2. I have 1. I finally have my own Switch back again.
Yeah.
Which probably doesn't do anything because next year I'll probably be buying, rumored wise, a new one.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of rumors, but this is announced.
Yes.
MSI is getting into the fold of portable gaming machines.
Yep. Pretty standard looking offering. 7-inch full HD IPS display, 120 hertz refresh, very reminiscent of the ROG Ally. But the Claw has an interesting trick up its sleeve in that it is not AMD based.
Kind of what we were talking about earlier.
It's exactly what we were talking about earlier. This is a Meteor Lake internal. This is a Intel Core i7 or Core 7 Ultra, Core Ultra 7. Good lord, I hate Intel's new naming scheme. Core Ultra 7 155H. It's a Meteor Lake CPU. Has gosh, I looked it up earlier. I just want to get the numbers right. 16 total cores. They are broken down as such. There are 6 performance cores with 12 threads. There are 8 efficiency cores, and then there are 2 low power efficiency cores for a total of 16 cores, 22 threads.
That's total, but they're not used simultaneously.
They're all used simultaneously. But you can schedule them all.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought from the way I thought it was broken down, it was separate of like depending upon what performance the device needed.
Nope.
Okay, that's cool.
I believe you can turn off cores and like in the BIOS, if you want to disable performance cores and skew battery life and whatnot, you could totally do that. And in fact, that's probably how I would run mine. Is like I said, if you're aiming for 120 FPS, which this is a 120 hertz screen, it makes a lot of sense to skew your battery life towards graphics, not towards CPU. You're not going to be stressing the hell out of your CPU unless you're playing Baldur's Gate 3 or I've seen a couple other games with some massive CPU limitations. But in general, give graphics all you can.
Well, however, though,
Core
this
Ultra
is already
7 Ti Super. Shut up, Colton.
However, this is already giving you a pretty decent battery life per the portable devices with a 2-hour promised battery life under full workload.
Yes.
That's pretty decent. I think that's their other hat, their niche in their hat. What is it?
Feather?
Feather in their cap. Feather in their cap.
Quivers for your arrows. Arrow Lake's not out yet. That's next year.
Well, quiver. I mean, it's a feather, right? Whatever.
That's the fletching. Good lord.
Oh my god. Oh yes, I'm so much of an archer. God, whatever. Hitting the target's a sin, but whatever. Or missing the target. Anyway, shut up. I provide context and entertainment for all of you.
675 grams, 16 gigs of LPDDR5.
1 terabyte solid state micro SD slot for additional storage.
Yeah.
Didn't say how big, but again, like you said, it looks very similar to all the other ones coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how well this is going to perform. I don't know if this is just going to get drowned out with the other ones. Like you said, though, it is a different processor. It might be noteworthy with that just to compare it in performance-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Just, like, hey, let's finally see something different. Let's benchmark the crud out of this versus something of weight. However, I will note that this is the heaviest that's stated. I think it said like 675 grams.
Mm-hmm.
So it is coming in as the heaviest handheld device. So don't be planning on holding this up. Well,
I've got some that are.
All right.
I've got some that are tanks. The Aya Neo Next. Oh my god. I think it weighs almost 900 grams. Like, it's up there.
Oh my gosh, it's that is a brick.
And right now on, I think the next handheld I'm reviewing is the Aya Neo Kun, which I think comes in just shy of a kilo. It's an 8-inch screen, or
so.
8.9 inch screen. It's massive.
That's almost 2 inches bigger than this.
It's a massive handheld. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what size?
25% larger than this screen.
What size is the OLED, the Switch OLED? Isn't that just 8 inches?
6.
6? Oh my gosh, that's a huge screen then.
6.4, 6.6, something like that, I think is the Switch OLED. Yeah.
Jeez.
So these are 7s, and they're coming in pretty good, 8.9.
That's pretty good.
8.9.
Oh my gosh, that's huge. You're holding a tablet. You're basically holding a tablet.
You're holding a tablet and a battery bank and an Xbox controller.
Oh my, yeah. That is my only problem with all of these personal gaming devices is there's just these huge bulky things, and I like that about the Switch. It is so light. Now, it isn't a AAA gaming title in the sense that I get to play all those. I only get to play Nintendo devices. Mm-hmm. These type of devices, you get to play the aspect of, yes, you get to play certain AAA titles with them if you wanted to. You really could. But man, do you remember the old Game Gear when the Game Boy came out? How big and bulky that was?
Well, it needed 6 AA's to power it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That, every time I hold one of these portable gaming things, it always brings me back to my childhood of holding one of those in comparison to the original Game Boy. Not the backlit one, with which I had the adapter for the screen.
Oh yeah.
The battery pack, which took an additional 4 batteries.
Oh yeah.
To light up.
No, I had one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. The Game Gear was still heavier than my Game Boy with that attachment on it. So that memory, that childhood feeling of, holy cow, this thing's just a brick. When I hold my Switch, even with a case on it, and I hold one of these, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm holding a 10-pound weight. It's like I'm gonna put this on my lap and my neck's gonna be strained the whole entire time. Where the Switch, I can prop my arm up and I can hold it up for a pretty decent amount of time. I don't know. I've always thought the biggest key, and this is,
I just looked up the Aya Neo Kun, 950 grams. Yeah. Like 50% heavier than these handhelds.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
The one thing I've always thought, and this is a personal pet peeve, is that the only way these devices work is if it's dockable and you can be used as a personal computer when it's docked and it's on the go, similar to a Switch. If it is like that and it has enough space, 1 terabyte is plenty of space to do that. Maybe not with modern gaming because every game's 30 gigs, whatnot. But just in that aspect of, if I want to do something, I want to have a portable computer. This is my theoretical laptop replacement in the sense of my gaming laptop replacement. but I do need to do some work on it. So I mount it at home, in my apartment, at my house, whatever. And now I have my portable keyboard and mouse. I can do my work. I can do my schoolwork. I can do my regular day-to-day work.
Yeah.
But I want to play video games. I can take it on the go with me where I'm going. That's the only thing. And I still don't feel they're there for that personal aspect for me.
These are... I've talked about these at quite a bit of length. These are gaming devices only without considerable extra hardware. There's no other input devices. There's no keyboard. You're not going to... You'd have a hard time even browsing the web on one of these, simply because you couldn't get there. It's a touchscreen with really good resolution. You know, a 7-inch 1080p screen, pretty darn good. But doing computer tasks on a screen that size, as we learned with netbooks, is a painful experience. And without a keyboard and without a standard mouse, navigating Windows is nigh on impossible. Outside of the, I just need to install this game really quick. Okay, the game's installed. Now let me use the controller. And I've talked about this, that SteamOS does it right, and Windows couldn't possibly do it worse. And unfortunately, with all of these running Windows, they're not going to serve ancillary purposes outside of gaming. Unless you want to dock them and then carry a portable monitor and a keyboard and a mouse, or, you know, hey, maybe you get this all-in-one thing that... I have a 1X player, a 1X Player 2, in this form factor, in this 7 to 7.5 inch screen size form factor, with a 1080p screen, with 120 hertz refresh rate, with a 7840U. It's basically, you know, very similar to the ROG Ally and things like that. I even bought the keyboard attachment to it. You can buy a Surface-style keyboard that magnets onto the bottom with pogo pins and can fold up and whatnot. The keyboard is awful. The touchpad is one of the worst I've ever used. And the laptop, it becomes a device that is so incredibly small, you still can't do anything with it. The smallest device that I've found that I can take with me and actually do things with has got to be the GPD WinMax.
Okay.
I daily drive a WinMax 2. That has been my laptop. It's actually replaced my MacBook Pro. And it's not even the good model. It's not even the 7840U. It's the previous generation of the WinMax 2, which is the 6800U. It's the Zen 3 and RDNA 2 model. Still plays games fantastically well, and I love it. And I bought this one. But 10-inch screen, 10.2 or something like that. But 16 by 10. It's a 2560 by 1600 screen. Oh, it is sharp. Oh, it is good. Even though it's such a large handheld, it has a 95% sized keyboard on it, which takes a little getting used to. The keys are a little cramped, but once you do, you can type at a fairly reasonable tick on it. The touchscreen is responsive enough and accurate enough that if I'm scrolling web pages or whatever else, I can just grab the screen on the side and just kind of flick my thumb and get to where I'm going. But it has a full keyboard, so I can do full navigation. It also has a trackpad, so if I need to be a little bit more precise or drag something somewhere, I can do that without gumming up my screen with all my hand oils. Yeah. It's got a 2 terabyte NVMe, it's got a microSD expansion, and it has a second 2230 NVMe slot that I actually have loaded up with a 500 gig drive that I dual boot into Linux with. And so when I'm working, I boot into Linux and I play, or I do all of my craft computing tasks. I have OBS on there. I do live streaming from Linux on my WinMax 2. If I'm playing games on it, I boot it into Windows. I can launch the games because I have a trackpad or a fairly accurate touchscreen to do so. If I need to type in a path or download a game, done. I've got a full keyboard to do it, and the controls are comfortable. They're comfortable enough given the form factor that it is. So that's been a device that I've found can be a dual purpose. But there's compromises on both the gaming aspect and the laptop aspect to make it work. It's not perfect. It's good enough, and it excels at a couple different areas that I really wanted to excel at. It has a very small footprint. It's only a 10-inch. It's the same footprint or even smaller than an iPad. It's thicker, for sure. I don't care about girth, though. I care about footprint. I care about how much space are you taking up in my bag. The larger the item, the more space. The larger the footprint, the more space you're taking up. And so small a device as possible is what I wanted. In the space saved over a standard laptop, I can fit a mouse in my bag now. I couldn't before. Now I can. So if I want to use it for more professional stuff, and I've got a lot of work I carry a mouse with me. So yeah.
Yeah, that's just the one thing is these portable gaming devices / basically gaming laptops, essentially, in the with an Xbox controller attached to them with no keyboard. They just haven't hit everything that someone needs, and so therefore, until they figure that out, that's still hitting a very niche market. Mm-hmm. And then within that too, I think they're hitting an even nicher market, because now you're fighting the keyboard people that like gaming on keyboards versus the pads or the controllers of like, I don't really want to play a first person shooter on that game. Mm-hmm. It's not that I couldn't, but I know I'm better on a keyboard and mouse for certain first person shooters. Now, if I'm playing a racing game, I'm not going to mind. If I'm playing what is it, Vice City or
GTA style game,
stuff, I don't care. Assassin's Creed, I don't care. That's fine. I don't need a keyboard and mouse. This is perfectly fine in a controller. But there are enough AAA titles out there that do, in my opinion, hinder the style of playing someone does. And if you're a PC user, majority of the time, you are very set in your ways because you've learned that with your PC, and you don't go back and forth from your Xbox to your PC or PlayStation or whatnot, back and forth. You stick with either the controller or the keyboard and mouse. So I like the docking aspect. That's what I was really hoping for. If this is gaming, it's oriented toward gaming, and it would be very, very light work-esque. I'd work on like Google Docs or internet browsing, but I'd only do that if I had it mounted or docked. And then when it's docked in my house, I would be able to use my larger TV, even if it is only 60 hertz, whatever, but I can use my wireless keyboard and mouse.
Right, and all of these devices have Thunderbolt, and so you can do single cable charging and docking and plug it into all your peripherals, get video out, all that kind of thing, with a compatible docking station. And I've actually set that up upstairs. I do have a desktop upstairs, but I also sometimes want to work off my laptop, especially if I'm doing stuff with Linux, and so I'll plug in my laptop. I've got a single USB-C cable coming off of a dock that plugs me into my keyboard, my mouse, my monitor, my sound system, everything else at my desk upstairs, and works fantastic.
And I just don't think so far modern ones, they're like 60 to 70% there, and there's just something to me. It feels like there's just missing, and I don't know quite what it is, but. The cool thing about the MSI Claw is, again, like we talked about, different processor, so that's really cool. That's going to be different. That'll be fun to performance check, and the battery life, but 2 hours is still decent. So it'll be fun to see. Maybe we'll see a review on this channel. Maybe we'll see reviews on others to compare it. So that'll be fun to see. What else we got? Hey, we were talking about video cards earlier. Especially the 40 series.
This one is super interesting.
Yeah.
So it is weird to see micro soldering getting a level of approachability that scammers are now implementing it to make money. What I mean by that is we've seen instances of CPUs. Amazon had a plight of this for a while, where new CPUs were being bought by people, and then they were being delidded, and then that lid was being applied to a generations old piece of crap, i3 or Core 2 Duo or something like that, being put back in the box and then returned. And then that bad CPU, that 10-year-old chip being resold to some unwitting customer on Amazon. Delidding is one thing. Removing all of the components from a graphics card, that's a new one.
Yeah, this one went extreme.
I kind of like the effort here, I'm not gonna lie. Supposedly, multiple times, RTX 4090s have been sold on the used market with all of their components removed. So GPU,
you gotta read the fine print.
GPU removed. Basically, they're selling a VRM on a PCB. And even some of the VRM's been removed. A couple of the MOSFETs are missing up here. So like tons and tons of components removed. For some reason, there's still what was that? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's still 7 RAM chips, but 4 of them have been removed here.
Yeah, be right back.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, this is just nuts. This is just wild to me that microsoldering has the approachability now that you can deball and remove a BGA set of chips so you can transplant them onto other cards. Now, allegedly, this happened in Hong Kong, where there is an embargo on specifically RTX 4090s because of their AI capabilities. So, they're kind of in demand, but the idea that you would remove a 4090 GPU from a PCB along with memory chips and VRM components implies that you went and put them on another card because that can make you money. So these blank PCBs are being sold as actual cards. It's just weird. It's just
I don't know
weird.
what the purpose of, like, what are you doing with all these spare parts? The AI aspect, I mean, like, okay, I understand that you could, but the micro soldering and the amount of effort to reuse these parts integrate it into some self-made personal AI thing. I mean, the card is already designed to do that. So are you taking an old card and theoretically trying to upgrade particular parts, but they're probably not compatible? I didn't get this. Or was this just like a case a guy got of like a display case or something? It was just weird. But someone got scammed pretty heavily out of $1,600, and probably more than one person did. A fake 4090. Essentially, they just got a shell and a board and maybe some bits of RAM, and that's it.
But again, I'm curious about the implications of why this was removed, and it's probably because it was transplanted to another device.
But like, what other than that series, the GPU wouldn't fit, the die wouldn't fit,
unless you were manufacturing PCBs, and
are you
look, we've seen over the last couple of years reference PCB designs showing up with sometimes used or reballed GPUs and memory. I mean, RX 580, the RX 5700 XT, the 2060 Super. I've done videos on all of those cards, all bought from AliExpress, all supposedly having been harvested off of other GPUs first, and then plant it onto new PCBs. To varying levels of success. Some of them are fantastic. Some of them are. I've sold a number of those cards. I've given some away to family. All of those cards are still up and running. There's one that was a little dicey that I opted not to, and it's actually one that I never did a video on, but it was, I think it was an RX 580 where the PCB was attached to the heatsink, but the rear pegs were the wrong size, and so the PCB showed up bent. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to trust that one. But you'd have to have something to put this GPU die and memory on to function. And so someone somewhere manufactured a PCB to put a 4090 GPU onto it. Are we going to start seeing AliExpress 4090s for sale? Like, for like $900?
So Tech's in the chat if anyone didn't know, but he came, or Tech Potato, if no one got the beginning of that reference.
Yes.
They put a 4090 in a custom machine learning board for data centers, and you can pump up the frequency and wattage. But again, you're manually doing that. I don't know if the die would fit, honestly.
It is an AD102. And it is the same GPU die that's used on some NVIDIA enterprise cards. And so assuming you transplanted the BIOS or copied the BIOS over, you could transplant the 4090 die onto an enterprise GPU, onto a PCB, and like you said, get higher frequencies out of it. Totally a legit theory.
Okay, then if you were to do that, then I could see your AI aspect, because you want that higher frequency. You want that aspect. But I mean, that is an expensive way to go about doing it. And then you're just, well, like, oh, I'll sell the shell to make my money back?
Potentially.
What the heck?
Your camera died.
I know.
I think your camera died. Honestly, at the scale that people are offering AI services, it might be worth it to some people to take a 3.5 slot gaming RTX 4090 and put it onto a 2-slot blower card, and make it work. Just because of the performance increase that you would get over other AD102 based cards.
No, my battery is fine. I don't know why it turned off. It's not warm in here.
Yeah.
I moved the LED screen up though, so that might be warming the battery or the board on the camera. That is a known issue of these Sonys.
They like to warm up. Yep.
So
speaking of AI utilization, things that billionaires have said. Part 78. Jeffrey Katzenberg of Disney and DreamWorks fame says he expects in the near future that AI will eliminate 90% of artist jobs on animated films. Direct quote.
I don't disagree with some of this stuff, but I also disagree with a different aspect. I think AI is a tool. Is really what it is.
Yes, I fully agree there.
As soon as I saw this article, I thought of Corridor Crew. Did you see them make those 2 episodes of the AI anime that they did?
I have not watched that one yet. It's come up on my feed before. I haven't had time to watch it.
Okay, so they did an amazing thing to where they took a art style and they live acted and filmed themselves doing this live action, and then had AI transport it into an anime style, and therefore it was a whole cartoon, but it was acted out by humans, and it took their references and likenesses and everything, and so therefore they were able to basically, instead of having to animate everything, they just acted it out, and that's a lot faster. And then but for them, they had to figure out the process of how to get the AI generated images and smooth it out. And then they just took Steam, and they did the backgrounds in Steam or Unreal. Sorry, Unreal.
Yeah.
And they were able to produce a whole episode like within a week. And so it was, and then they refined it again, even better and faster. And so they even introduced it into a Disney animator, and he's like, "Oh, this is going to kill all of my jobs."
Yeah.
But in my head, it's like, it's not, because now you get to have live actors. How many times do you see live actors in animes where animators will watch the voice acting videos and then they put that into the character?
Yeah.
Or they have to track Golem with the AI dots.
Sorry, I'm gonna step away for 1 second here. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. And so in my opinion, I understand AI is a very powerful tool, and there's a lot of interesting things AI is doing right now, especially with realistic art and Dream. What is that? Dream Weaver or whatever. Unstable diffusion and stuff like that. You can do real life acting and real life, and that's what everyone's afraid of. But for animation, the background aspects, the trees moving, programming the hairs on the head of, if anyone's ever watched Disney's Brave, where they were talking about all of the hairs on that character's heads were individually animated. That can all be taken over now by AI. They're talking about how Jeffrey was talking about, saying that it sometimes takes old animation 5 years to create a movie because it takes a crew of hundreds of people. Well, not now. Yeah, it's AI is just now a tool that artists can use. Now, theoretically, yes, it can get to the point to where, say, 5 years from now, a YouTuber or someone else could learn to create their own shows as well, and their own animated shows. They're probably going to be a bit more crude, a bit more rudimentary. But to me, again, this is kind of what we're talking about, competition. Now you have more creative people being able to express their arts, being able to produce this content that's going to give you better content, whether good content or bad content, that's laziness or not. But now more people, it's going to drive another aspect. So I don't think AI, and I hate the term AI, it's just algorithm. That's all it's algorithmic,
right?
It's just algorithmic. Whenever you say AI, they always think Terminator. Dun, 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 dun. You know,
Duckworth points out, local AI performance is just marketing in 2024. Speaking of...
What's my battery with AI?
Tell us how you really feel, John. I have an idea for an op-ed that I want to produce, and I want to reach out to as many people as I can within the industry, hardware, software, whatever it might be, and I want to ask them directly. Your company got on stage and talked about AI on people's desktops. Intel talked about it on stage, talking about getting AI onto the desktop. It's going to be a huge game changer for laptops. AI in everything. That was their whole presentation this last month and at CES, was AI everywhere. That was the name of their presentation, okay? In which they introduced server CPUs and graphics cards and AI accelerators. I want to know, realistically, what are these companies expecting use cases for AI to be for you, for me, for their customers, locally? What AI tasks are we going to be actually utilizing? Is it just chatbots? Is it going to be Microsoft Copilot and that's the end of the road? If so, that's a pretty short road. Is it going to be Home Assistant? Is it going to be, Siri and Alexa and all that? If that's it, that's a pretty short road. For most of the population, that's a pretty short road. Is it going to be generative AI? That might be a little bit more of a thing, where it learns who you are. reads articles that you would read, scrubs the internet, basically becomes a modern RSS feed for you, where it can you can ask it, what's my news for the day, and it goes, oh, Intel announced this new thing. I thought you might be interested in that. Oh, cool. I hadn't read that article yet. I think AI analytical scrubbing could be a thing to present information to you more directly that you're interested in. Although we already kind of have that with Google News feeds and a whole bunch of other things. You swipe on the home screen and you get a whole bunch of news articles that are recommended for you. I don't see AI currently being much better than that. Then, hey, you read this article from this thing about this thing. You might be interested in this other article about this other thing, That, when it comes to gaming, there's definitely some use cases for AI, but where is that data trained? And is it actually your computer doing the AI, or is it your computer rerunning an algorithm that's been pre-trained? And I mean, that's the whole aspect of DLSS, is we trained this game with known good textures and high performance and things like that. And now your graphics card can algorithmically upscale in real time. There's RTX voice or Nvidia broadcast where you can remove background sound, but that's just an algorithmically trained thing. Image generation might be a big thing for artists. I mean, obviously we have Adobe getting really into that with Photoshop, saying, place a girl here, change her clothes, do this. One thing that I've seen AI get really good at is object selection within images. It's something that I've started utilizing within the last couple of months as a new feature. Out,
replace this, yeah.
Even just, selective background removal, which I do for all of my thumbnails, where I will take a thumbnail of me, but then I will isolate myself, and then I will color the background that I'm shooting on. Most of my thumbnails are live compositions. If you see me holding an object, I'm actually holding that object and balancing it while taking the picture. But then I'll do, color shifting or highlights or whatever else, and do some image isolation to draw your eyes to a certain location. But that's how I do my thumbnails. I used to trace myself and whatever object I was holding out of an image, and now I can let Adobe look at my image for 30 seconds and then go, okay, select Jeff, and then eliminate Jeff from that image. Okay, cool, color the background, put Jeff back in. And it just does it for me. Is it replacing me as an artist? No, it is speeding up my workflow.
Yes, exactly.
It's accelerating my workflow with assistive tools.
Yeah.
So, my question to companies, I'll let you go in a sec, is how am I, in my profession, in my daily life, as a gamer, as a creator, as a content professional, as an industry professional, how am I going to utilize UI locally on my hardware with the hardware you sell me? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a hard thing to say. Now, I think the only modern right now thing that can be sold currently is more to the professional version of AI, like you were talking about referencing, using to the graphic artist, to the person animating, to the professional YouTuber or vlogger or photographer, doing all those type of things. For a business, I could see that as being AI. For writing up articles, but again, that's still algorithmic. It's still, I don't think it's heavy GPU CPU based. That's more algorithmic type stuff. Me personally, I think what it could do, if you were going to do that, is more build an OS around AI to optimize that particular OS system for you, instead of needing I need to buy this license, and this, there's enterprise, there's there's the home edition. You just buy you buy, I'm going to quote unquote Windows AI, and then within, you use it for 3 months, it learned what you need, and slowly you could add on to it. That I could see as an option. It builds on your performance, but then At the same time, I also just don't like something tracking me, tracking all of my performance and stuff like that. I don't really feel comfortable with that type of stuff. So that's why I've always liked AI as a tool. I don't want AI taking over my whole life and I let it have the wheel. I don't mind it parking my car, type of, if I want to use like a car analogy, where I want to parallel park. I understand that technology is great, but I don't trust it, honestly, to drive the freeway. I don't honestly trust it to merge or drive in the snow. I really don't. I would still trust my personal instincts. I wouldn't mind its help.
I barely trust my van, which has level 1 assist, which is radar, cruise control, and lane stay assist, and lane transit assist. It will help you navigate corners as it sees in the road. It will avoid other traffic. It does have sensors on all sides. So it's not hands-off. It's not autopilot. It's not anything like that. But it is kind of nice to get on the freeway and then go, I want to go 70.
And I want to be 2 cars lengths.
And I want to be 2 cars away.
Yeah.
And it just does it.
And it just does it. But my foot is still very wary. And my eyes and my hands.
My foot doesn't move off the pedal. My hands don't come off the steering wheel. My eyes don't divert from the front. I'm still driving the vehicle. Yeah. It's just doing 80% of the work for me. I'm still paying 100% attention, though.
Yes, exactly. And the thing, there is, to me, no difference to this in the AI aspect of a tool for an animator or anything than someone 10 years ago looking at modern Adobe today. If you went into a graphic artist 10 years ago and say, hey, check out all the tools Adobe has today, if you took out all the AI and just the cool features it has for computing and algorithms, they're like, you're cheating. That's horrible. They took all the essence out of it. No, it's just a tool. Now we get to create new compositions. Now we get to do new things. Everyone, when they think of AI, gets freaked out of like, I'm going to be spoofed by someone stealing my identity and doing that. That is, but it's a small aspect of the overall circumference of AI as a tool. Everyone can steal your identity now. That's the thing. Hackers have been doing that for years, no matter what. Imagery and modeling and all that stuff. Who cares? Every model today is a fake model anyways, with Photoshop and makeup and everything else. So what do you care if the person is real or not? When you meet that real model in real life, they actually don't look like that. So what do you care if it's a real person or not?
We care in the fact that we're currently compensating someone for a skill set. And if that skill set is no longer required, what's that person to do? Now, this is an age-old question of, automation will, there was a fear in the 70s that automated welders are going to put welders out of business. Welders haven't gone anywhere. They've left certain fields, but there's still a demand for welders, and so it's like, oh, robots building cars. Yeah, they're more accurate and they do it faster and they don't bitch about overtime.
And your cars are technically safer, well, and more accurate.
Yeah. But
are they building works of art and craft? No, they're not.
Right. And so it's not that skill sets are necessarily no longer needed. We will always need animators. We will always need modelers. We will always need script writers and journalists and photographers, and those skill sets aren't going to go anywhere. They may not be used in the capacity or the exact circumstances that we use them in today. But like you said, I love equating AI to a new tool set for those who are in those industries. As a programmer, if you could explain to ChatGPT what your code is trying to do and walk through multiple iterations of it, and it gets you 70% of the way there, and then you tweak the last 30%, are you any less skilled of a programmer?
Oh, I've already done that. I've already done that because I was like, hey, I'm on a deadline. Look,
did it replace you? Did your boss get on ChatGPT, tell it what it wanted the program to do, and then it spit out a working program? No. You still need to know how to program to use this tool.
And the person that doesn't know how to program can't sit there and be like, hey, ChatGPT, write me a program to do X. And then it'll be like, here's the code. And they'll be like, I don't know how to execute this because I don't even know how to read it. I can't go to image generator and say, hey, image generator, animate this movie for me in this style. Sure, maybe in 10, 15 years, we might get to that area. But right now, what people are talking about, it's nowhere near that level technically. You can easily tell that if it is that way because there's lots of fragmentations. But, you know, just to reference the article, that's the only reason I brought that one up. You still have to have a skill set. I can't go into Photoshop and tell Photoshop's AI or any other Photoshop type AI to be like, fix this image for me. I have to explain the terminology already ahead of time to this AI because that's what it was programmed to know. Yeah. It's just, you know, like you and I talking or someone else talking to an end user when they're trying to talk to one of us when they're like, hey, I'm having a problem with the system. I clicked a button. To us, we're like, what are you talking about? What's a button? And to them, they're like, that's plain English. And to us, like, a button could mean 100 different things.
Do you realize how many industries, how many professionals have a running joke within their industry that says, I'm a professional Googler?
Oh, yeah.
Every industry I can think of.
Every industry.
From mechanic to doctor to dentist to programmer to YouTuber to technical professional to help desk to anything. What do you do for a job? Well, it feels like I Google 80% of the crap that I do throughout my day. That doesn't mean you're not skilled. That means you know the right questions to ask.
Yes, and you know when they read something, you know the language. It's almost like learning a second language. You understand the verbiage. You understand what the other person is conveying, and you can put that into practical use. So, yeah. So I don't think it's going anywhere. Do you want to do this last one, or we got some beer news really quick, or what do you want to do?
I definitely want to do this last one, and then we'll hit the beer news, I think, on the way out. So a Lego modeler has, let's just say it's impressive.
It's very impressive.
And cue the French horns. Bum, 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 bum.
If you can't tell from that image, those are all Legos. 75,000 Legos to be precise, and they are not custom-made Legos. Those are scoured throughout different pieces and different variants of other things. So those are original pieces of Legos that came from other sets. He did not sit there and make each individual or die cast them, 3D print any of this stuff. Those are all individual scoured pieces. That to me is the most remarkable part. Yeah. And so the very interesting thing was, so this was actually first initially displayed in 2019. And so the first time this was actually displayed at the Brick World Chicago, which is, you know, like a Lego style building fair. This was the first time he actually had it fully assembled too. Yeah. He was unaware. He was saying that he built it the night before. Fully assembled was the first time he had it fully assembled. Yeah. That's pretty scary. And this thing is just a master to just look as like, oh my, I want this.
The level of detail
so
is
bad.
Stunningly good.
Yeah. The docking bay looks great. And I'm like, I think I even know that piece, but it's like, oh man.
There's so many pieces I recognize in here. These are satellite dishes from 90s sets, like your Ice Runners and your Space Frontiers. Like those are some hard to find items in Lego. This is a helicopter blade. I recognize that one out of Lego Technic. Yeah. There's so many good little pieces in here.
I know. I would bet now. I know Lego has its own genre of like nerds and everything in pieces. I bet someone could go through. Oh my gosh, that piece is here. That piece is from this set.
This one right here. Is a piece out of gosh, what was the Lego in the early 90s had city pieces, and part of that was like a motorsports where they had little race cars that you would build, like little kart racers, and this is one of the mechanics tools out of that. It was like a hammer spudger kind of thing. I recognize that piece. I recognize this piece. This is off the Star Wars destroyer droids. It's the forward guns off the little destroyer droids.
Oh yeah, I see that. I see that now. But this is a
gate piece out of the city set, and it's laid down horizontally, so the bricks are standing up here. There's so many cool. There's some binoculars right there. Those are binoculars.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that division. It's cool. Actually, the Defiant to me actually looked more like an old oh gosh, bird of prey, not bird of prey. God, not Vulcan.
No, Klingon.
Not Klingon.
Romulan.
No. Romulan. Thank you. Yeah, the Romulan bird of prey, because it's so flat and one dimensional.
Yeah.
And the gray is like, oh, it's an old Romulan bird of prey.
I will say, unfortunately, at this scale, the Defiant doesn't quite hold up.
It doesn't.
No.
It's
better than I could do, though. I am not criticizing.
No, yeah, it's very nice. No, it's the rest of it. It's the lighting. It's all the incandescent internal line. And he's saying it's actually not as thick as most people would think. The outer ring is only like 8 layers, and then on top of that, the rest is just floating. It's support beams. And I watched part of the video. Yeah, it's a lot of glue.
Yeah.
So,
but hats
very
off.
impressive. Hats off to that,
Super
sir.
Cool.
Man, what?
Do you know what these pieces are? These ones are fun. So this centerpiece, I believe, is possibly out of a TIE fighter. These side pieces are actually parts of the space shuttle booster, the solid fuel tank so if you have your space shuttle, your NASA space shuttle, there was the shuttle itself, and then to get into orbit, there were 3 modular pieces onto it. There were 2 booster rockets and then a solid fuel container. This centerpiece was the Lego piece for that solid fuel container. I recognize that piece because I had that set. Oh, and I think we lost John. I don't know where he went. 2 beer items to get to before we call it a night, which is unfortunate because I wanted John to be here for these ones. So hopefully he'll jump back on. Yeah, John Jay says the Lego model is 6 feet wide. It's 75,000 pieces. It's insane. Anyway, 2 items of beer news to get to, and then I think we'll call it a day. And it's really hard to call either of these beer because neither one of them has any alcohol in them. So White Claw, obviously famous for the White Claw seltzers, has come out with a new product that they are calling White Claw 0%. And I just got a message from John. Apparently the power went out at his house. So hopefully he'll be back here in a minute. So White Claw, non-alcoholic. Can I just point out, that's just seltzer. You can see the childhood spark in Jeff's eyes. Yes, thank you. White Claw 0% seltzers will hit the shelves at Kroger, Total Wine, and more on January 1st, so they should already be on the shelf. Oh, John's back. We were just talking about the White Claw, non-alcoholic, or as I like to call it, seltzer.
All right, let's see. Does this work?
That works. Yeah, we're good.
All right, we're good. All right. I don't.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, I don't know what article. I can assume that I know what we're on, but my automatic timer to save power in my shed was set to 8. I thought it was set to 9, but guess not. So I know what time it is. But yes, White Claw is producing water.
Yes. Yeah, sparkling water, non-alcoholic water. Even we usually, I mean, these were alcoholic seltzers. Now they're just seltzers. But has the price gone down? No,
not at all. Nope, not at all.
I mean, I'm one to pick up, the occasional expensive seltzer.
I have 3 cases. I have coconut, pineapple, and cherry in my fridge right now.
Yep.
I do enjoy throughout the day. I know everyone thinks I drink beer 24/7. No, I do enjoy the carbonated flavored water, 0 calories. It's to me much better than soda. But I also I know what they take to make, and I go for the cheap end. So it's like the Walmart value, Winco value brand stuff. I will say I do buy the coconut pineapple Bublé from Michael Bublé. I do enjoy it. For some reason, they got that flavor down pat.
Yes.
So I spend a little extra on that one. But yeah. I you know what the thing is on those? It's 0 calories. It's not 10 calories.
Well, these are 15. The White Claws are 15 calories. Yeah. Available in black cherry, mango, peach, and lime.
I don't think these are going to last very long, to tell you the truth.
I don't think so either. And I actually have a really funny parallel because there were 2 headphone companies in the mid-2000s, mid-2010s, that one of them was seen as an uber premium brand, and the other was seen as the one you buy when you can't afford the uber premium brand. And the ones I'm talking about are Beats and Skull Candy.
Oh yeah.
Skull Candy,
Walmart brand, baby.
Yeah. Skull Candy, pretty decent headphones, especially for the money. They started out, making $20 headphones and $30 wireless and things like that. And I have a pair too. They decided to start stretching their market a little bit and started producing $100 and $150 sets of headphones. And the general populace said, I'm not spending $150 on Skull Candy crap. Like all they make is junk and I don't want any of it near my ear holes. And that was the general consensus. Skull Candy cemented itself as a budget brand and no one was willing to spend money on it. Beats, on the other hand, cemented itself as a premium brand, albeit we all knew it was overpriced, but it was still premium. It was, starting price of, $300. When they came out with a $200 set of headphones, it was like, oh my God. Well, then they figured they could start coming out with headphones for like $80, and people went, holy crap, I can get Beats for $80?
Yeah, exactly. Name brand recognition.
I feel that's going to be this way for White Claw. I think White Claw's more on the Beats track than on...
No, see, so you held up...
John, we must hang out with different white girls.
I don't hang out with white...
I mean, but what I'm saying...
You're positive. No, because here's the thing is, everyone I know that drinks White Claw actually aren't white girls. They're actually white guys trying to lose weight.
This is also true.
And they're not wanting non-alcoholic. They're only drinking White Claw because they're like,
it has alcohol,
Yeah.
and it's under 100 calories, and it's 5%, to where if I were to do that with a beer is only 3%, and my wife will also drink the White Claw.
Yeah.
So therefore, I might be able to get drunk if I drink twice as much, but my wife will too. Therefore, I'm going to use PG-13. We both might get lucky tonight. We're both going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Type of thing, to where the aspect of just having, I don't think anyone's drinking White Claw for the flavor.
I fully agree with that. There's definitely a reason you drink White Claws.
Yes, it's tolerable flavor. I go and find sparkling water for the flavor, and will pay that price. But we're talking $4 for a 12-pack. I don't think White Claw is going to be selling $4 for a 12-pack. They're going to be selling $12 for a 6-pack for this stuff.
I think if they come in at this price point,
the $190, I think it's what, $199?
$199, maybe $15 for a 12-pack or something
ounces.
like that.
That's 16 ounces.
Right. I think if they come in at this price point, they're going to be far more successful than either of us want them to be.
I really don't want them to be that way. Yeah. I really don't. I really hope not. So, I don't know. Well, you know what the crappy part is? It's going to be on a Hops and Brews episode, that's for sure.
I'm Kiki.
Hey! Kiki, how you doing?
You're bit.
I'm
Bit, how you doing?
I forget it.
What? I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be in bed, aren't you?
Just about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. It's bedtime almost.
Yeah, she can't hear you because I have my headphone in.
Oh, okay. Then I will stop talking in childish form.
Nope, but she is saying hi. So if you want to say hi, here's your chance. There you go. Say hi.
Hi.
There you go.
Is he saying hi back?
Yep, they're saying hi back. Yep, he's giving thumbs up. So there you go.
Oh, I wish I could hear that.
I know. Anyway, I'll come check you in a second, okay?
Making a lot of fart noises.
Liquid Death should cash in on this and make a bunch of knockoffs. I think if Liquid Death started making alcoholic things, number one, no one would notice because they thought it was alcoholic anyway. Number two, it might go off the way Skull Candy did.
No, because I think they can get away with the same price point.
I think they could if it's the same price point.
I think they can get away with it at the same price point because Liquid Death is selling at 16 ounces. If they went... This is kind of almost the Monster Rockstar aspect when they varied off into different flavors of their base flavors. Not a lot of people care for their alternative flavors, but it was the same price point. So then that grabbed people that, I don't like the base flavor, but I like this new alternative.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think so. So whatever. But I mean, Liquid Death has already got a great name behind them. So, and they already have some phenomenal flavors. Adding some neutral spirit to it probably wouldn't change it too much.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of flavor, what in the Kentucky Fried F did you put in my newsfeed?
Well, so I don't have control of them on my phone, but I know what you're going to be doing. And so Miller Lite has come out with this phenomenal new product of, hey, everyone knows that after you have a few beers at the bar, what do? You pop in a mint because you don't want that beer mouth smell went to your wife or significant other when you get home, or perhaps someone pulls you over while you're driving. Whatever. You don't want that aspect in your mouth. Well, Miller Lite said, yeah, no, you do. Because they came out with Miller Lite mints. A little bit of mint, but then after that, you get that Miller Lite beer flavor in your mouth, and that's what your breath smells like. But you get none of the alcohol.
Do you know what the last...
That's what everyone wants.
Do you know what the last flavor on my list would ever be in a breath mint? It'd be pickle.
God.
But close behind that would probably be domestic beer.
Domestic beer that imagine popping a couple of these, and then you woke up because you forgot to like brush your teeth. Would your mouth smell like a bottled deposit room?
Probably.
Because you and I both know what that smells like. We work the same bottle deposit.
I know they spare no expense when it comes to the flavor of their beer. I can only imagine the corners that have been cut to get that beer flavor in mint form.
Is this the champagne of mints? Yes, but Miller Lite. So I believe
living that high life, bro.
I believe it's coming out next week. In the teens. I'm on my phone, so like 16th, 17th. They will be releasing their box of mints you could buy.
Yep.
I believe it's coming in under $10. I think it's like $7.99.
$5. January 12th.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
There it is. You can get it under 2 ounces of mints that have a minty front taste.
Let me read the description.
Yes,
let me read the actual press release. At first taste, consumers will be greeted with the freshness of mint, but once chewed, they'll notice a subtle yet great taste of Miller Lite that leaves consumers' breath feeling fresh and their taste buds hoppy. Have you ever noticed hops in a Miller Lite?
I was going to say, what are they talking about? Lagers in general, and especially a light lager, do not have any hops in it.
No. With beer mints, beer lovers can chew their beer without consuming a drop of beer and enjoy the same fresh breath in the process. Never once has Miller Lite and fresh breath been placed in the same sentence.
Nope.
Not once. No one asked for this. No one wants this. God.
And yet I will review it, so it's fine.
You will. You will.
Oh. We do have to
February, if anyone wants to know. This was also in the Discord, so again, join the Discord to get all these sneak peeks and only get these little tidbits when I'm on hosting because they're stupid and annoying and Jeff's gonna hate this. But we have to come up with I bought that Doritos flavored vodka.
Oh no.
So
all right, I'm in.
You're gonna have to come over and drink these with me.
All right, I'm in.
Coming in February. I got it shipped to me. I backdoor dealed it. This is probably going to be on the level of that Pabst whiskey, if not even worse.
My chair just broke.
Really? Finally?
The side support in my chair just broke on me. Like the whole thing just went and buckled. Like it stuck through the back of the chair up here. There's a piece of armature that runs down in a curve. That whole arm piece just snapped. I leaned to the side and went, whoa.
Oh, geez. Well, you have had it for like, what, 5-6 years?
This chair was given to me 4 months into my YouTube. I had 2,000 subscribers. And they reached out and said, hey, can we send you a chair? And I said, make it 2 and I'll put it on my podcast. And they said, okay, as long as you have it on your podcast for 6 months. That was 6 years ago.
Yeah. No. So you should have another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's at my other desk. And I use that one too. Well, I have used these chairs every day for 6 years.
Pretty good chair.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have to take it apart. It feels like it might... No, that's some broken metal. Okay.
Oh, you're screwed then.
I can feel it. All right. We'll have to have an in memoriam for this chair. I love this chair. So yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Anyway, maybe I'll get Logitech to send me one of their Herman Miller $1,500 chairs. There we go. That sounds like
as long as it's on the chat or the videos for 6 months.
Yeah. All right. Think that's going to do it. This has been episode 316 of Talking Heads. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news. We stream at 6 p.m. every Wednesday night right here on YouTube. Make sure to like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to Hops and Brews if you like the beer content on this channel and want to see more of it and see John make me suffer.
Yes, that's going to be great. We're going to do that. That's the goal of 2024 is the year suffering of Jeff.
Make
my
Jeff
goal.
suffer.
That's my New Year's resolution.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Again, hit up craftcomputing.store. Really helps
Definitely
me out.
Yep.
All new shipping rates should be affordable to you wherever you live. High quality merch. Designed and made to order right here in-house by me. So, that's my spiel. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, we'll see